welcome everyone to Yanks on the Pitch podcast, episode number 5. I'm Kash.
And I'm Eddy.
Today is Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. Happy New Year to all our listeners. Our last episode was recorded on the 10th of December last year. So about 1 month has passed since then. And there's been a lot of club soccer, that's been played for us to digest here. So just a reminder, there's been no national team play. The next game is actually on January 20th, so in a couple weeks here. It is just a friendly, though, so nothing too crazy here. The next competitive national game for the U.S. men's national team is in March, and that's going to be for Nations League. So we'll be sure to be releasing more episodes around that time or after that time to kind of cover those games. We got 2 semifinals against, or maybe is it just one leg, Eddy? I don't know if you recall.
Yeah, if they win, they go to a final. It's just one leg.
Okay, so March 21st is against Jamaica, semifinal, 1 leg game. Should be pretty good.
And then Mexico in the final, probably. Gonna be another 2-0, hopefully, or more.
Agreed. So until then, I just wanted to go over kind of some awards, some Yanks on the Pitch podcast awards for some of our players.
Actually, wait, before that, we keep forgetting to mention this. If you guys have any questions, hit us up in our email, our Instagram, Twitter, slide into the DMs, and we'll bring it up on the podcast.
That's right. Yeah, we try to kind of include everybody, and we actually do go through our comments and read through those things. So reach out to us and we'll cover whatever you want to.
But yeah, let's do some awards.
All right, first award we got these are just self-appointed too, by the way, so we're just kind of making these up as we go. But we got Most Improved of 2023. Who do you got for that one?
Do I go first or do you go first? How does this work?
You go first in this one.
All right. Mine is Anthony Robinson because he's been on a tear since, really the whole year. I don't know if you saw, he got put into like the Premier League team of season where he's up with Van Dijk and other good players. And he posted on Instagram like that meme of a bunch of soldiers lined up against the wall, and then there's one clown and he's calling himself like the one that doesn't belong.
Right.
But he belongs. He's been crushing it. He's been locking players down. He's been a lot of assists for Fulham, and not just Fulham, but the US team when they played against Trinidad and Tobago. He scored a goal and he assisted a goal. So yeah, mine is Anthony Robinson.
I like that call. I'll piggyback off of Robinson's award there for you, but I agree. I mean, he's been in form, and I did see that post that he posted where the one clown amongst the soldiers, which maybe it's just the same way that I guess the world views Americans, as we don't see them as players who belong in the top teams.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
So just himself, of course. I feel like our team is pretty nonchalant. They don't think the most of themselves, so it's good to see that. But I think he does. He is definitely one of those guys that could be on that team. So good for him. I don't know who makes that team, but good to see him on there. Who was my most improved of 2023? I had noted actually Weston McKennie, and I feel like we're gonna crisscross paths here with these awards because we also have most excited for us, and I'm gonna call out Robinson there too for that one. But most improved for 2023, I have Weston McKennie. Why? I don't want to say he's come a long way because he's always been playing for these top teams, but I do want to mention, and we covered it briefly in a previous episode too, is when he went over to Leeds, he did not have success over there. Individually, the team, they got relegated, as a reminder, right? So the Leeds fans were not being nice to him, and just I can't recall if they had other mean words towards the other, Aronson. I think Adams got injured before the end of the season there, but they don't, that was a bad look for us Americans because we had 3 guys on the team and where did it go, But Weston played for them, exited that team and not in the fans' best line of view, but he came back to Juventus, and I know that at the time there was feelings and discussions of whether or not he's even going to be on the starting lineup. Is he good enough to play for Juventus anymore? And he came out and he did. He did a great job. And I actually did have someone posted this on Instagram too, but Tutos Sport, the Turin-based newspaper, released that Juventus player ratings since the start of the season, and the Weston McKennie is their top player of the season. So
Yeah.
I think that was really cool to see, and especially when you got these big names on that team. So and it's one of the top teams in the world. I mean, Juventus has always been top of Serie A and just been a big name. So the fact that an American can climb to the top of that team's roster and shine as he has in the past month that we've seen, I think is really, really cool to see. So he's
Yeah,
my
and
most
he's
improved.
that's a really good pick. I didn't even have him on my list. I don't know why I missed him. That's a really good pick.
Yeah, don't forget about Weston.
Yeah,
And
I had Dest, but in quotes, if he didn't have his freak out against Trinidad and Tobago, because
okay,
that freak out still doesn't sit well with me, even though he's been playing really well. But that mental breakdown, just can't have
yeah,
that.
I remember being pretty mad at him at that time, and now I feel like enough time has passed where I almost want to sweep it away and just not think about it. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but
Although
I
he has
wonder
been,
if it's gonna be swept away because like that was the last game he played with the U.S. men's national team. Like they haven't had a game since then, and obviously he's suspended for the semifinal against Jamaica. So I
yeah,
wonder if they win, if he's gonna be allowed to play in the championship game, or if he's gonna be punished for it because he technically still hasn't had a punishment or anything, or at least in like the public view. I'm sure he got berated by everybody in the locker room.
yeah. I mean, a lot of time will have passed by between now and the final, so I like to think that something will happen where he'll have learned or become apologetic, where he already has. But I mean,
Yeah,
I like to see the final.
He did wear that US flag after the Champions League win. So
Yeah,
there was that.
yeah. So although I will say I feel like he's been a little quiet on PSV lately. They haven't played very much in the past month. I've only had a couple games here. Um, he played for 16 minutes against Arsenal in the Champions League, Dest.
Yeah,
So
but that game didn't really matter. That was like the last game of the group. Both Arsenal and PSV were advancing.
okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think Pepe even started that game.
I think he did actually. Check.
Yeah, it was 2 or 3 weeks back now, so it's hard to remember.
Yeah, he played the full 90 that game.
Nice.
All
All
right.
right, should we go to our next one? I'll ask you this time.
Yep.
All right, who is your award for the most disappointing 2023?
So I'll give this one to Matt Turner,
Okay.
and I'll give it to him because, and I wonder what the feeling is like on other international fan bases, but like for as a US fan, I feel like we haven't had a quality goalkeeper since um
Tim Howard.
yeah, since
Yeah.
Tim Howard.
Yeah,
After that,
that's not like all that long ago though.
yeah, I know, but I feel like I had a lot of confidence in Zach Steffen. That kind of it didn't really
Pan
go
out, yeah.
anywhere. And then all of a sudden Matt Turner comes there and he had a decent World Cup. I never was a big fan of him. People are saying that he's doing a great job, but I don't think he's actually ever had to prove himself too much. He makes saves he's expected to. Then again, he also has mistakes, which I think is what he's shown in the past month here. He had two games, two pretty big games, one against Man United in the just Premier League, and then one against Tottenham, also in the Premier League, where he passed the ball out of the back, turned over, I think, just directly off of his pass, and then 1, 2 passes later, he gets scored on. And I will say that I feel like, especially in the EPL and other just larger leagues, the coaching staff and the teams are learning to play out of the back no matter what, to the point where it's almost ridiculous. I don't know why you expect every goal kick to go short and you have to build up from there. If especially when you think about like when kickoffs happen in the beginning of games, teams will pass it back to their goalie or their center back and then they'll blast it forward. So what's the point? Like what's if you're gonna do it off the kickoff, why not do it after every goal kick and get it as far out the field as you can every single time? So I don't get that why you have to build out of the back every single time, especially in the run of play when things, the goalie's gonna get pressure. He's gonna make weird passes. He's not the only one who's doing it, Matt Turner. But of course, we've seen him do it twice in the past month, so that's a little upsetting to see. So
Yeah, that's also soccer 101. Like if you're a defender or a goalie, the first thing they teach you is if you don't know what to do with the ball, just punt it away, get it out of danger. But
exactly.
Matt tries to make the pass out of the back, and then it hasn't been working well for him. I know you
So I'm
said we'll
trying.
be jumping around, but the next one that we have is who needs to improve the most, and I put Matt Turner for that one. And I have the same notes, the Manchester United and Tottenham game. But there's also more like that again, that Serginho Dest meltdown game. I blame that loss on Serginho, but Matt Turner, not only is he bad at playing out of the back, but this guy cannot cover the short post. There's so many goals he scores that go in short post. That's rule number one is get the ball out of danger. Rule number two is always have your short post covered. And against that TNT game, he gave up that first goal on the short post, and then the second goal he gave up was off a free kick that he easily should have saved. Any goal he should have saved.
Oh yeah, that was
And
bad.
then yeah, and then going to the two games you mentioned, I mean, but epitome was against Tottenham. He tried to clear the ball out, but it went straight to a Tottenham player. They had a couple passes, and then it was a goal on the short post that he should have saved. It was like a double whammy, just like Matt Turner in one, like the bad of Matt Turner in one play. He gives the ball away and then gets beaten on the short post. And
Yeah,
then the one game we didn't mention was against Liverpool, which was actually the reason he got benched for the Greek number one. He was in the doghouse for like 4 or 5 games. So yeah, I agree with your pick. He was pretty disappointing, but he does also have those flashes where he makes awesome saves. Like if he could just keep doing those saves, and when it comes down to playing from the back, just every time you get the ball, just kick it forward. I don't want you trying to pass it to anybody.
right. And like I said, I'm trying to defend him a little bit where teams are pushing that more, where they build out of the back. But in the end, it's the player's decision, right? He does what he needs to in that situation. Turner's just got to learn to clear it when he can, especially against these bigger teams. I mean, against Tottenham, against Man United, these are some teams that are going to punish you. Although I will say, United, they did beat United that game, which was very impressive to see.
Yeah.
And as a United fan, I was entertained because it's Nottingham Forest was at the bottom of the table doing that to Man United, who's been struggling for a long time trying to prove themselves, but can't figure it out. So it's just funny to see. But they did win, so congrats to that team for that result. And then
Yeah.
also they did beat Newcastle
Yeah.
3-1, which was cool to see too. So I think that, and Turner's been playing 90 minutes. I know last time we talked in the podcast, he wasn't starting like you mentioned. Now he's got that starting spot. Whether or not he's going to keep it, I don't know. We'll see. He's had a couple of errors, so we'll see if he's
Yeah.
going to keep
He
that spot.
he's lucky that the backup for Forrest sucks even more. Like that guy's even worse. But because like if he played for any other team, he probably wouldn't be starting. Like you can't keep, I understand one mistake here and there, but this is like 4 or 5 mistakes and it's the same stuff over and over. Like you need, if this happened in the World Cup or a big tournament, like you can't have any of this stuff happen at the biggest stage.
Right. I feel bad for talking about Matt Turner for so long for this reason, but I think it's something that's very important for us to see him improving his game, just getting the little things right, especially as Nations League's coming up. And just, I mean, I want him to be successful in the EPL, so he needs to
Yeah,
fix those
same
things.
here. And it's especially important because like other positions, striker, we have Pepe, Balogun, Sargent. For goalie, there's like no clear number two. So like Matt Turner's the guy right now because there's just nobody behind him. Zach Steffen isn't really there. I saw he's coming back to the MLS, might finally get some playing time. Uh Gaga, Sonina, he's playing in Belgium, but there's nobody even really threatening to take over Matt Turner's job right now for the US men's national team. So hopefully he steps it up, or hopefully one of the backups step it up soon. We got some
Right.
young guys on there
I was pretty
because we
excited
need help in
about,
the goalie
yeah, I was
position.
pretty excited about Slonina when he was, he made that big move to Chelsea when he did a long time ago. A long time ago, whatever that
Like a
was.
year or two, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was excited for that. I was hoping his career would kind of take off from that point. But then, I mean, I guess it maybe was a little weird of me to think he would be getting the starting position right away. But, I hear him going to Chelsea, practice player. He gets on loan, like you said, over to Belgium. But from what I've seen, looks like he's not been doing super hot either over there. So I would like to see that to improve. So I
Yeah.
did, you mentioned who needs to improve. I think
You
maybe,
would think our Americans would learn from Pulisic to not go to Chelsea because that's where Americans go to not perform and not
right,
play.
except he was in the MLS at the time, right, after the fire. So it's like you can't turn that down an offer from any
Yeah,
EPL
that's true.
point. But maybe that's a good point you bring up or that we're talking about here is we do have the award of who needs to improve the most in 2024. Maybe we just call it our goalie position, right? We need to figure that out and drill
Yep.
at Matt
Yeah,
Turner.
mine was Matt
Uh,
Turner for that.
Okay, yeah. So we just need
Uh,
to drill down our goalkeeper position. Yeah,
what?
we just need to drill down that goalkeeper position for 2024 and kind of have our starter, which in this case is Matt Turner, figured out.
Yep, agreed. So back to most disappointing. For me, most disappointing in 2023 for me was Gio Reyna, and it's nothing to do with how he plays. It's just that he doesn't get any playing time. I was excited for him after the World Cup. I was really rooting for him because of all the drama that happened at the World Cup. You know, he didn't get much playing time at the World Cup. He almost got sent home during the World Cup. Then there was all the drama between Reyna's dad, Claudio Reyna, and Berhalter. Um, so I was like, hopefully he could take all that noise, put it aside, and perform on the soccer field, which I think he could if he got playing time, but he hasn't. So from that perspective, I think he's been the most disappointing. Again, not because of his performance, it's just that he's not getting any minutes. So I would like ideally for him to get loaned out somewhere or transferred because in order to improve, you got to play. In order to develop, you got to play, and that's just not happening at Dortmund right now.
Yeah, I actually had him as my honorable mention for that award, most disappointing, for the exact same reason. He just needs to find playing time. If you're, and he's a great player, he deserves playing
Yeah,
time.
he's
Top
good.
team. So, I mean, he makes that transfer, which I'm also rooting for. We see him playing for another big team. I think he could be successful somewhere else, and that would be really cool to see. We're not. I'm not the biggest fan of the Bundesliga. I know it's a good league, but if he can get out of there, I think it'd be cool too to go over to my favorite league, English Premier League, and then high paced and just entertaining soccer over there. So if you can make it over there, you can make it anywhere.
Bring him to Luton.
Ooh, that would be really cool. Like an underdog team. That would be really cool to see. Like
That'd be
Brentford, I like
sick.
them. That'd be really cool to see. A little small little town like that. All right. And then I think our last award here for our players is the most excited to see in 2024.
So was this like most excited player or like most excited event in
Honestly,
2024?
I think it's all the above, whatever you want.
All right,
I got
well,
a couple things to note here myself. So
the obvious one is Copa America for obvious reasons that we've talked about. It's gonna be a proving ground for everyone. Maybe Berhalter will get fired after that. Or maybe he'll do well and he'll keep his job. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get a lot of answers there. So I'm most excited for that one. But I feel like that's a cheat because everyone's excited for that. That's a cheat answer. So player wise, most excited for is Weah because he's been injured and he's finally back and playing alongside Weston McKennie. I don't know if you saw, but they're actually like on the same side. Like Weah is on the edge, or
Mhm.
the most he's the winger, and then McKennie's more in the middle. So it's
Okay.
awesome that they're like not only playing together on the pitch, but they're playing next to each other, and hopefully that cohesion will translate to a U.S. men's national team. And Weah is just a sick player, so I'm excited to see him play. First game back, he ripped a sick goal. I don't know if you saw that, literally way
Of course
outside
he
the
did.
box and came off the crossbar.
That was very dirty. It was, yeah, like you said, pretty far out. I want to say, was it that Coppa Italia game?
Yeah, yeah, it
Coppa
was.
Italia.
They were up like 5-1, but still, I love a sick goal when you see a sick goal.
Yeah, and the team liked to see it, and you know who liked to see it too? It was McKenny. You saw that?
Wested, yeah, that's right.
I don't know if we touched it on. I've touched on it before, but I don't know if I mentioned it in this episode just yet either. Is the dude's just personality shines like crazy. And yeah, I feel like not only on the US team, but even on Juventus to see him just being excited for his players and especially for Weah when that goal came out. I think he was the only guy from the bench. I'm assuming he was on the bench. He was somewhere because he was wearing his coat. He wasn't playing. He ran over to Weah and celebrated with him in the corner, dancing with him. That was really cool to see. Love him. Love him so
Yeah,
much.
he was like a little cheerleader, super
Yeah.
excited. Ran over to it was so cute to see.
Which is important to see because players
Yeah.
don't do that as much anymore. People are always looking out for themselves and like see everyone else's competition. But Weston feels so comfortable where he's supporting his own teammates. It's very important. And
Yeah,
where
I don't know if you saw during Thanksgiving, they kind of celebrated it together. Weah and Weston, they had this clip of like, what are you thankful for? And then Weah called Weston his brother, and he loves him, and it was really cute to see.
I like that. Yeah,
They got a little bromance going on.
get that family feeling going. Love that.
What about you? Who or what are you most excited for in 2024?
I got a couple things here too. I'm gonna go with my number one most excited for player is Anthony Robinson. Only because, like you mentioned, he has been in form lately and doing great things over in Fulham. And I actually haven't seen anything recent, but like a week or two ago, I did see that there was interest in him going over to Liverpool.
I
I
did
don't know if
see
that's
that.
still going to happen or if that's it was ever even a thing or if it's just a rumor. But even the idea of him getting picked up by one of these teams that's fighting for number one on the EPL table, I think that'd be really cool to see. And Liverpool's one of those teams that I've historically thought of like, wow, if you're on that team, you're a great player. Even the way they're playing nowadays, I mean, all those players are doing great. These guys like Elliott, who just came in not too long ago, and I didn't really know who he was at the time. And now Elliott's Harvey Elliott's performing well. Just all these guys on the Liverpool team are doing awesome. And to think that someone on the coaching staff thinks that Robinson can fit in, that's very exciting to see. So I'm very excited to see that. And even if he doesn't make that transfer, just to see him keep playing the way he does, even improve, start getting more assists, more goals. I think that he's shining for Fulham, and I love to see that.
I don't want him to go to Liverpool.
No,
Yeah, because what if he goes there then doesn't get playing time? I'm like scared of. I just want to see our players play, and I'm scared if he goes to Liverpool, he'll play at the beginning, and then what if he doesn't play? But at Fulham, he's gonna play. He's the guy there.
I guess that's always the risk, though, right? That any player makes when they transfer over to a bigger team, which is always, for the most part, everyone's transferring to a bigger team because they want to progress. Unless and you're down, your career is going down. But in this situation, all of our players are going up. So I think it'd be cool to see him play. And it sounds like there's a little bit of injury troubles over there, so he would probably start in the beginning, and then I like to see him earn it. I think he would fit in well with those guys. They'd mesh, and he just at that point has to not screw it up to to not play. And I think he could do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep going to my most excited for. Or you got any more?
Yeah, I had an honorable mention, Tyler Adams. Just excited to see him play. Haven't seen him in forever. He's
Right.
supposed to come back February.
That's actually right around the corner, right? So, and I always
Yeah.
forget that he's for Bournemouth now, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna be kind of cool to see him also come in for a team that is on the bottom of the table, but they don't have amazing players and help them try to I want to see him help that team try to figure it out, see if they can go up on the table there and try to not get relegated.
That's all of our awards, right?
Yeah, although I do want to mention I also had Tyler Adams for most excited for, and I did want to call out Richards, who is currently playing for Crystal Palace. He I don't know that he was starting a lot more than a month ago, but now he's starting. He's
Yeah.
actually been playing, looks from what I'm seeing, the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games since our last episode. He's been playing 90 minutes every game. And it's against opponents like Man City, obviously top of the table. Brighton was also very good. Chelsea, self-explanatory. The months were great, are still good, but can't figure it out. And against Brentford, and I mean, and Crystal Palace a couple ties. They tied City, they tied Brighton, lost to Chelsea, which is a little strange, but beat Brentford. Those are some good results as a team. He doesn't have any assists or goals in those games, but he's getting all right ratings. He looks like in the mid sixes at one against Brentford at a 7.4. But to see him, who once upon a time didn't know much about him, to see him playing for a team like Crystal Palace, who I think is entertaining to watch, I think it's very exciting. So I'm excited to see him play and continue playing for Crystal Palace. See if they can start getting some more wins and I don't know, being more successful.
Yeah, they're using him as like a defensive mid, so not many stats will show up for that in terms of assisted goals. But yeah, I mean, I just like, yeah, I'm excited for him, but at the same time, I don't know who he would replace in the starting lineup for the US. Like our middle center midfielders are solid with MMA, McKinney, Adams, Musa, and also there's Gio Reyna somewhere in the mix there. So
Mhm.
I mean, it's good to have for depth. Injuries happen all the time, as we know, as we damn well know with all these injuries that we've had. So it's always good to have depth. But I mean, I am excited, but I'm not like super excited because I don't see him start. Like, if our whole team is healthy, I don't see him starting.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. I'll take that. And I would feel wrong if I didn't mention, I feel like I haven't used the word Christian Pulisic this episode yet, but I want to call him out. I feel like he's been definitely informed for Milan. Uh, Quick note, he is the first USMNT player to score in the Champions League for three different clubs, Dortmund,
Oh
Chelsea,
yeah,
and
that's right.
So very cool to see that. He also, I think, has like 7 or 8 goals and slash assists in the past 10 games or so. So he's been doing awesome and playing with alongside Giroud, Leao over there. I mean, those are some amazing players. So to see him doing that alongside them is really cool to see.
Yeah, I did have him as like second or third in my who improved the most last year, but because he's playing so well. But then I thought about it, it's like we all knew he was good. It's just Chelsea like made us forget a little bit. And
I never when he was on Chelsea and Chelsea was struggling, I never forgot. I believed in him. For some reason, the coaching staff didn't play him. They would bring him on in the last like 15, 20 minutes, and I think he would shine even those minutes.
yeah,
But good thing he left, and yes, he's
and
very
it's
put in
yeah,
that
and it's
position
nice to
where he
see
wasn't
because
playing.
if something like that happens to a player, a lot of times their confidence goes down and they
Right.
could play differently. But Pulisic, if you watch AC Milan games, like he's taking players on full of confidence. So it's just great to see. His confidence hasn't gone down. He's playing great, finally shining as he should be.
Yes. A couple other quick things I wanted to mention. Malik Tillman, I think, has been doing art pretty good for PSV. So I think I'm just thinking of one assist he had like a week or two ago where he played an amazing through ball from just past the center half and the offensive half, slipped it through, and it might have even been to Pepe or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the game against I don't remember who it was against, but yeah, Tillman got the ball from the goalie, dribbled, and then played the through ball to Pepe. And I think Pepe actually assisted the goal
okay,
to
yeah. So
someone
yeah,
else.
you're right. He did
But
chip
yeah.
back left to the goalie and got like a nice feed through and turned, did everything a center mid needs to do, and played a good ball through. So there's that. And
Yeah,
then
I have one more. I'm
hmm,
just updating my notes as we go through for who needs to improve the most. Just the forward position for the US. And maybe we could touch on all three or even four or just everyone. Because there's Balogun, Pepe, and Sargent are like the three main ones.
okay.
And Balogun came on strong in Monaco, but lately there hasn't been performing that well.
Yep.
Pepe has been playing well, and Sargent has also been playing well. He just came back for Norwich and scored a goal right away. So
Yep.
all of them are playing decently well, but I want one of them to take the next step to be like, this is our guy. Right now, it looks like Balogun's our guy, but the difference between Balogun and Pepe right now isn't all that great. So I'd want, I would want Balogun to take the next step this upcoming year and improve. So we have the solidified forward, and then Pepe will just come off the bench and score goals as he does.
Mhm. I agree. We haven't talked about the forward very much today, so I think for that reason alone, you're right. We gotta improve that position. I do like Zendejas, who plays over for Club America down in Mexico. He gets starting. He's a starter over there and gets a lot of playing time. So we haven't seen him play too much recently for the men's national team in these tournaments, but I like the guy. I don't know why, and I think it'd be kind of cool if he kind of pushed through somehow in the quietness of Balogun, Pepe, Sargent. But then again, those are some pretty big names to beat to try to get that one or two forward starting spots. So it's probably
Yeah,
not.
there's also
But I like
Haji
him.
Wright and Jesus Pereira. Haji
All
Wright
right.
has been playing well recently. He scored 2 goals in a game recently. So there's a lot of competition at the forward position, but they're all playing like a little bit above average, but we need one to just play excellent and get
Yep.
into form.
Agreed. All right. That's all I got for awards. You got anything else?
Nope, that's all I got.
I did want to drop a quick note on the MLS. I know I don't know if we have to go into too much depth about it, but are you good leading the players, or did you want to?
Yeah. No, I'm good. The only thing I have left is the friendly against Slovenia that's coming up, but we could talk about that at the end of things that are coming.
Okay, quick note on the MLS. It was just a couple weeks old now, but they attempted to announce that, or they did announce that they weren't going to play their first teams in the Open Cup, which I didn't have too strong of an opinion on, but it was sad to see that. I think one thing, I mean, lots of things define these top teams in the world or these top leagues in the world. One of them is it's really cool to see them playing in the FA Cup, in the Carabao Cup, all these the Coppa Italia. They play in these tournaments and other leagues that are minor, but you know like why would you not welcome other competition? And the fact that MLS was like, no, we don't want our first teams to play in that. Why not? You don't have to play
I
your
could tell
starter.
you why. Because it's all
Okay,
about the money.
right.
The
Okay.
M the ML why why would MLS want competition? There's no relegation. The MLS teams could just stay in the MLS and they keep making their money.
Yeah, it was just annoying to see. It looks like the U.S. Federation said no to that, which is good to see.
Yeah,
Um,
I did see that.
but just stupid. And then I just want to leave that alone. That was bad to see, kind of disappointing. But you know what? Maybe that's what the MLS has a lot of growth to do. So they got to figure it out.
So what is the resolution right now? Like MLS teams said, no, we don't want to do this tournament, but US soccer blocked that. They're like, no, you have to.
I
Is
think
that
so, only because I think the U.S. Federation like runs it. We can deep dive into a little bit more for the next episode to kind of break down
okay?
how it works. But it's weird. I guess they currently still have to until they figure it out. I don't really know. Leaving that alone, I did want to point out that I think, let's see, Inter Miami. I have a note here. They picked. I haven't seen too much on it recently, but a couple weeks ago, saw that they picked up Luis Suarez.
Yeah.
So I know that at one point there was even talks about them picking up Rakitic, maybe even, or
Yeah.
things
Ivan
like that.
Arkitic, yeah.
So it's just like I
Just
don't know
getting
what
the
the pros are
Barcelona boys
anymore.
back together.
Yeah, that's which is really cool to see, but it's also giving it these like weird vibes. It's like this is like now Barcelona in the MLS or the
Just
old boy.
like the old boys from Barcelona having fun in their retirement.
Yeah, 5 years ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago, me would have loved to see this, but now it's just kind of like weird to see them not doing it for Barcelona and doing it for Miami. It's kind of we I don't know. It's cool but weird. I don't know. We'll have to see how they do. And then, but along those lines too, Hugo Lloris is coming over to
That's
LAFC.
right. Yeah, I did see that.
I thought it was for a smaller signing than I would have expected. He's only getting paid, I think, less than 2 million or something, but it's such a massive name, so that's cool to see. So congrats to MLS fans, I guess, to see that him coming over. That's all I have at MLS. Anything else?
No, I just want to watch a US soccer game already. It's been too long. Or
Yeah, I
maybe
know,
it's
right?
just
Always
because the
talk.
last time they played, it was the fucking Serginho Dest meltdown, losing to Trinidad and Tobago, and I had PTSD to World Cup qualifiers in 2018. So I just want to watch US soccer. And we don't get much of it just because of club play, which is fine. But I guess this is just a rant. I want to watch a game.
Uh, the only other thing I wanted to note too, upcoming is PSV versus Dortmund in February. That's mid-February, so we still got some time, but it'll be cool to see if I don't know if Rena's gonna play, but you see our three boys on PSV to play in the Champions League again. So
Yeah, Reyna's probably not going to play. That's my guess. Unless they go down and they need some offense, then maybe Reyna goes on. But even that, I don't know. Like when I first saw that they were playing each other, like in the draw, I was like, oh hell yeah, like that means at least one of our American boys is gonna advance. But then I was like, well,
right,
Reyna isn't even playing. So I think I'll be rooting for PSV just because
I am too. I am too.
Dest is a starter there. Pepe seems to come on as a sub every game, and Malik Tillman plays here and there.
Yeah,
So I'll be rooting
definitely.
for PSV.
Yes, and then depending on how that goes, where it sounds like we're both assuming Reina's not getting much playing time, I think this will be all more of a case for him to definitely want to leave
To
and to
get
get
the
out of
fuck
it.
out.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, same here. USA against Slovenia, friendly in 2 weeks. We're using MLS players, so we won't see any of our stars, but it'll be exciting to see some up and coming players. I know Diego Luna is the one that I've been eyeing. The guy's 20 years old, looks like he's 30 and rips cigs. He's got tattoos up his neck. I don't know if you've seen what he looks like, but he's really freaking good at soccer.
All
So,
right.
and then Patrick Schulte got called up, so he'll be playing the Columbus Crew keeper that won the
Okay.
MLS championship. So, I mean, hey, he's young. Matt Turner's, not playing all that well. So the US goalkeeper position is wide open right now. Like, yes, Matt Turner is the starter, but if one goalkeeper gets into form, has a couple good games here, like could be some competition for Matt Turner, which would be great.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, nothing else here. So we'll wrap up. Thank you all for tuning in. Slide into our DMs, hit us up on our socials, and we'll answer any questions that come in.
Yep, to set up some more expectations too is I think the first 4 episodes we had, we were releasing them, we were recording and releasing every week. So now that international play has slowed down, we will be taking a little bit more time between episodes, just to kind of gather up more games between. It'll be more club play until then, but yeah, so we'll cover it coming up. And like Eddie said here, send us what you're thinking so we can cover it.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Cool. Thanks, Eddie. See you guys.